Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. So this green is finally starting to look and be sort of like a putting green. So it's time to start treating it like one and keeping our mowing up, bringing that height of cut down and starting to think about putting down some PGR and giving it some more liquid ferts as well. So today we're going to talk about bringing the height down and how I'm going to do that, because we're currently at about 6 mil. My goal is 3 to 4 mil. I mean, if I get to 2 mil, that would be awesome. I'd need to use the Toro on this patch, the Greens Master, to get down to 2 mil, but anyway, let's talk about it. So as you can see, it's really starting to look like a green now. So here's that little chipping area. So this is going to be a little bit longer just here. And it's just easier to get a smaller mower in this area as well. We've got a fringe, sorry about the mess. It's just the clippings I blew in from that edging earlier. And then we've got the green here. So as I said, this is at about 6 mil, 6 or 7 mil at the moment, and the apron or the second cut or whatever you want to call it is sitting at about, from memory I think it is, actually let's have a look. So this area is sitting at, well, it hasn't been cut for like 4 days as well, but we're at about 11, 12 mil. So before it was at about 8 mil. So we're going to try to keep this around 8, 9 mil. Just so it's like, you know, a little bit of an apron on the green there. We could go about 12 mil, which is what we used to cut the aprons on at the golf course where I was working a couple of months back. So I've sent the Swartman back. Well, the Swartman's actually sitting over there, ready to send back today, just waiting for the crew to pick it up. I am getting a new Swartman as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep using the Rover on this section here, so I need to go pick it up from Josh's house today. So I cut the green yesterday afternoon, so it should be pretty close to proper height. It is growing heaps now though. If we measure some of the blades, it's sitting around about, it is more like 7 mil. So today I'm going to take it down to 5 mil, and I'm probably going to get some scalping, but we're just going to deal with it. But yeah, let's just talk to you guys about what process I'll be doing to keep it at that 5 mil and then push it down to 4 and then possibly even 3. We'll see what happens. Squeezing it down to 5 today, so we'll just have to adjust the old Protea just over there to 5 mil, and I'll show you guys how we do that in a second. But yeah, what I've been basically doing on this lawn for the past week, so it's been a week since I did that update on this area where I brushed in the sand, and look how much it's grown through to since last week. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I've been doing daily cutting. That's all I've been doing. Haven't been applying any more fert. The only water I've given it is we got a nice rainstorm. Was it last night? The night before. Really crazy rainstorm. Actually, we got about, would have been 20 mil in about an hour. It was crazy. Which then, of course, washed a bit of the seed over here, which was a bit of a pain in the butt. Anyway, I'll talk about that towards the end of the video over there and show you guys how it's going. But yeah, basically just daily mowing on this green just here, just to keep it filling in and keep it green. And I tell you what, it really has started to creep, and you can really see a big color shift in it as well. Now, as I said, since we are squeezing this height down, this lawn is going to scalp a little bit. We are going to get a little bit of yellowing, hopefully not too much, because I can see quite a bit of leaf there, and which means we have a bit of room to work with. We're sticking in the 1/3 rule, so we should be okay today. Say if I went down to 4 mil or even 3 mil, we'd really see a huge yellow off in this, but we should be okay, because I can even see on this leaf here, there's a couple of mil in there before we hit the crown. So the crown is sort of where the leaves shoot off on your plant, which is more towards the soil surface. And when you get that scalping or the yellowing off of your lawn, that's when you're digging into the crown. So another reason why I'm talking about this bit today is because I've been getting a lot of emails about this since everybody's got a lot of rain, like up in Queensland and WA and all those places, and their lawns have grown really long, so the crowns have actually come up a bit. So when you get a couplet cut at your normal height, you actually find that your lawn is scalping. Now, what I'd recommend you do, if that is the case, drop your mower down a couple of mil or a notch below your normal cutting height, and then for your next couple of cuts to raise it up again, and then you should see that scalping go and you should fix that issue. But yeah, it basically just means that your crowns are coming up and you're cutting into your crowns, which is giving it that yellow or scalped look. Right, so we chuck this on here. We can see it's definitely on 5 mil. You see how it's hitting that rear roller and the front roller? That's how we measure our height of cut. So So I need to adjust these here to bring this roller up. That's how it works. So your roller, it acts as your height of cut adjustment. So these height of cut adjusters on both sides are pretty awesome, I tell you what, because all you have to do is click it and it does a whole mil when you do a complete turn, or I think is it quarter mil? Obviously it would have to be. Full turn equals a mil, one click equals 0.25 mil. Yeah, well, that makes sense. So if I want to bring the height of cut down, I need to do a minus. So I need to move to the left. So let's do a whole mil. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should drop to mil. Look at that. Alright, so I was cutting 6 mil on the green. There you go. So I could technically take it down 1 more mil. And yeah, I think I will. Let's take it down to 4 mil. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not 4 mil. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell you what, that is one awesome thing about this machine, is those height adjustments, man. Like seriously, so easy. Especially that's on both sides, you can get really precise. Did get a bit of scalping, but that's cool. So it means that we're on our way to getting that proper true cut, which I'm sort of happy it's scalped a bit, because now I can just keep cutting at this height and we should be pretty sweet. Now, one little thing, did you guys notice about on my second cut that it started to get a bit more yellow than third cut? It really started to scalp. Now, the reason for that is because we started to cut a couple of different directions. So we pushed the leaf up so it was standing up when we cut in those different directions. Because I'd been cutting straight up and down before mostly, and that's the way the grass was laying. So now that we changed directions, we're actually cutting into the plant quite a bit more, which is why it has scalped it, but we've got a more true cut. So that's why it's always important when you're bringing your height down as well, make sure you do at least a double cut, if not a triple, or even cut it quadruple, which yeah, sounds ridiculous. It's easy on a patch like this because it takes nothing, but huge yard it is hard, but yeah, makes a difference. Righty, so I'm actually really happy with that. I'm probably not going to put any PGR on now, since it has come a bit more scalped and there's quite a bit of sand around. So if you get down close, you can see I have cut into some of the crowns, but there's still quite a bit of leaf there, which is a good sign. So the more we keep cutting at this height, and I mean you have to keep cutting daily basically, it'll start to green up. Make sure you guys keep an eye out too, because I put some updates on my Instagram and my Facebook stories as well of just how this is all going and how it's tracking along. But yeah, and I'll obviously do a video next week on YouTube as well. But if you just want midweek stuff, I do stuff on Instagram and Facebook as well, and both of those social medias are just at Lawn Tips. That's the best way to find me. But yeah, I think that's all we're going to do for today. That's really all I can do, because you know it's cut. I'll go pick up the rover later today, so I might video myself mowing the apron and stuff with the rover, who knows, but that'll be making regular appearances again in the videos, which I'm keen to get that bad boy back. Really keen. But it's funny, it goes to show you how much difference in colour you can get from your different heights of cut. It's like that always on the golf course too. Like your apron would always be nice and dark green, and then the green would always be a little bit more lime green, because you are cutting so low. So obviously the plant can't hold as much chlorophyll, and you know, it's a little bit more stressed when you're cutting at those crazy heights as well. Might give it a quick cut and see how it's rolling. I mean, there's sand everywhere, and like it's not the best cut. There's like a little thick patch just here. I must have missed it with the mower. That's cool. But let's see how it's rolling anyway. But it's definitely gonna be rolling quicker than it was the other day. Even doing that. I like for it to move a bit, like that. It's definitely rolling a bit quicker. Sweet. Let's try it. Look at that. Right, I'm just gonna tap it. Let's see how far this rolls. Let's tap it past the hole and just see how far it goes. Just for a little tap, like tiny. Of course, it got caught in the long patch. Pretty good. Tell you what though, you can definitely tell the difference between the apron and the green now. Massive difference. But yeah, that's about all I'm going to be able to do today on this. Not going to apply anything else, just going to let it repair a little bit from that. It's still got some inoculate in there in the ground, so probably no need to put any liquid fert out maybe until the end of the week. I'll hold off. I'll see how it looks in a couple of days. If it's not growing much, that's when I'll put some liquid fert out, but I'm not going to do it until I see how it responds from that. Cut a little bit into the apron there. Dang it. Most frustrating thing when you do that. Make sure you guys keep up to date. I'll keep showing you guys how this is going, but we're set up now. We're at the point now, if we just keep cutting this at this height, it's going to start filling in and really going to start working like a green. Thanks guys so much for watching. Stick around to the end if you want to see an update on the rye. But yeah, really appreciate all you guys that support me, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys that have subscribed and comment. You guys are all awesome, so just thanks so much. And if you haven't subscribed, give it a go, I dare. No, you don't have to. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching, really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. So you stuck around. So quick update on the rye. So it's been 2 days since I shot that other video, only 2 days, and this is how it's looking. So it's really moving along now. So you can see that I put down some top dress and it was some black stuff as well on these thin areas. Now, the reason for me doing that is because we had a crazy storm come in and it washed away a lot of the seed that I had sitting in those areas. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put down some organic stuff that's going to hold a little bit more and won't wash as easily as sand will. And I just put that in those bare areas. Now, the reason I chose an organic sort of a composty stuff is because it will break down over time, so it shouldn't have any impact on our levels. And I only did it really light as well. It's not like I did it real thick, so it is going to impact and I'm going to roll over those spots and bump into them. But I did the front yard and it is really coming along. Some of the seed that got washed, I sort of pushed it back into some areas. Some went down the drain though, which is a pain in the butt. But you can't do much about it, so I had to put a little bit of seed out, but I tried not to put too much out. Just going to wait and see what comes up and then go from there. But yeah, I did it at the back too, so I'll go show you. So here we are at the back. Now as you can see, that liquid fert and a little bit of rain as well has really grained it up and kicked it into gear. Like, it has grown in 2 days like crazy. Looks really good at the back. Thickening up. I'm gonna have to mow it again soon. I'm thinking about mowing it with the Toro, with the Greens Master. See how we go. It's just getting a little bit too thick and long for that Victor mower, unless I was mowing daily, and I'm just, mate, I was tired after using that on nearly 400 square meters. It's too much. But yeah, as you can see, I top dressed all the thin areas. And there's seed coming up through the top dress, which is a good sign. And it's also just helping retaining a little bit more moisture as well. I did also put down some peat moss in a few areas. Just wanted to try it. It's like a sort of a mulch, which is where you can actually see just there, like it's sort of a browny sort of a colour, a little bit just there. It's actually really good. It actually really holds that seed into place well. So not a bad idea to think about using some peat moss, which I got from Bunnings just in a 30 litre bag. But anyway, really is helping. I just thought I'd give it a crack and see what it was like, and it seemed to be pretty good so far. Anyway, gonna wrap it up there. See yous.